I'll keep this brief because you need to rest.
Yeah, of course.
I'm from Chai Vision. I'm speaking to Mohammed Hijab, but I need to introduce you to anyone. First, I'm going to start with how are you right now?
Feeling good. Feeling ready for action.
You've got what, 1 day?
Is it 1 day?
1 day before your weigh-ins, right?
Oh, okay, sure.
Thursday, then Friday's your weigh-in. That's,
yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, that's fight mode.
Yeah.
What's the preparation been like with all of this going on? Because I've not experienced this before. So with this and preparing for a fight, what's that preparation been like for you?
Look, man, work has got to go on as usual. We're doing what we need to be doing. The fight, I've been preparing for as much as I think I should be able to prepare for it. And it's a good opportunity for me to test myself. It's a good opportunity for me to step up in opponents and levels and intensity and all that kind of stuff. And inshallah, I'll be good. I think he's a formidable opponent, a good opponent. And we'll have to see how I do against him.
Do you have, because this is something that kind of puzzled me a little bit when I was seeing your preparation, do you have like a head coach that looks after you and says, Mohammed, you need to do this, this, this? Or is it you that puts together the training plan and everything that you want to?
Yeah, the head coach is Stuart Austin. Okay, he's the head coach of Fight Zone. And the good thing about that is that we've got a lot of heavyweights in Fight Zone. We've got Mario Pinto, who's part of the UFC. He's actually going to fight on the same day that I'm going to be fighting on the 11th of October. We've got Louis Sutherland, who's also in the UFC and was meant to fight, but then the opponent pulled out. We've got a range of other heavyweights. We've got Shah Kamali as well, who's well known in the community as a knockout artist. And then we have a range of other heavyweights who are really big, really strong, and really technical. So I don't know of any other gym, apart from Aspinall's gym in the UK, which has that many heavyweights inside of it at that particular level. And so obviously I've sparred all of them. I've done technical rounds with all of them. I've grappled all of them. And if you count it all together, the technical sparring and the Shark Tank sparring, everything, I've done more than 100 rounds, in the last 2 to 3 months of sparring. So I'm 100% ready for this fight. And if he does a good job of it, then he deserves whatever he's going to get from in terms of victory or something like that.
In terms of, let's say, your preparation up to this point, like you said, you're training with some like top fighters. Going into that first fight, what was the difference to you in terms of sparring and then going to a fight where your first fight I'm talking about, going into that fight knowing that you've got someone there that's intention is to take your head off? How did that differ to sparring and how did you cope with that?
Actually, the sparring was much more difficult. Because the caliber of opponents, as I mentioned, is the highest in the UK aside from Aspinall and some other people in his gym. Nevertheless, obviously the nerves of the night, the anxiety, anticipatory anxiety. I mean, everyone gets it. People would lie if they say they didn't get any level of that. And then there's obviously the people there and stuff. Now, I'm used to handling crowds. So there was a bit of that. But then, to be honest, I find it kind of exciting, I have to say. Yeah. I recall very vividly being very excited days coming up to the fight. And that's how I feel now. I feel excited. I feel like this is going to be an interesting thing. And I think it's a level up in opponent. One more thing that happened last time was I had pneumonia, actually. I didn't report this.
Oh, wow.
Now, I was actually recovering from pneumonia. I went to the hospital. I kept spitting out these kind of mucus things. And they done an x-ray on my lungs and they saw it was pneumonia. So I had to try to get rid of that. And so my lungs were not in the best shape. Now, I don't have pneumonia. I'm in much better shape than I was before. And, hopefully it's going to be a much better experience this time.
So explain to me why you wanted to do it. Why do you want to do it? Because there is a bit where you've got the grappling, you're sparring with some really top fighters. Why would you want to compete? And especially in terms of that fight, if you're not well, would you not want to delay it? Yeah,
that fight, I mean, the thing is, I waited a couple of weeks and I was still on the road to recovery. I just didn't want to, after all the training, kind of pull out the fight. I don't like doing that kind of thing. You invest so much time and effort into something you don't want to pull out. I'm glad I didn't because I won the fight and it was a technical knockout. It was a finish. I could have done much better, probably finished it much earlier if I wanted to, but it was a great experience and it gave me the ring experience I need for what I'm doing now. In terms of why I decided to do it in the first place, I know it sounds cliche to say this, but it is actually to test myself. Now, of course, someone will say, so why would you want to test yourself? I mean, why in this domain? Why not do something else? I've been doing grappling competitions for some time, and I've been doing, sparring and this and that and the other. But there's something about mixed martial arts with professional rules, okay, that stands out. It's something different. It's the highest level of combat. It's a dangerous. And to be honest, the heavyweight division is the most dangerous division, okay? So there's something about the excitement of that I like. There's something about the potential danger that you're going to face that I like, that it's slightly addictive, it's slightly exhilarating, it's slightly uplifting. It's just something which brings me to another world, okay? And look, in terms of what it does for me, I'm always reminded of the quote of Bruce Lee, who said, I don't pray for an easy life. I pray for the ability to deal with a difficult one. And so resilience and growing in willpower and strengthening oneself cannot be done just by reading books. It has to be done through physical exertion and exercise and serious challenge, which I think this is the opportunity for that.
What did you see in that first fight that you wanted to work on and change for this one? You said there were things that you wanted to, that you felt you could have done better.
Yeah, the thing is, in the second round, when I took him down, I could have passed his guard and probably finished it with a submission.
Yeah.
I didn't do that because I thought, why should I do that? Because I'm in a dominant position, all right? And I was cognizant of the fact that I had the pneumonia. So I thought, if I don't finish him, then something can happen to my lungs. I could gas out, something can happen. So I had this kind of thought in the back of my head. Now I don't have such thought. So if the match is pushed and if there's aggression, then I'm very happy to push the pace and do what I can do. In terms of grappling, I can be a very aggressive grappler, and I'm very hard to submit. Actually, I'll be impressed with him. I know he's a black belt, but I have to say I'm hard to submit for black belts. As a purple belt, I'm difficult to submit. A black belt will find it difficult to submit me. Now, of course, if they're an elite black belt, like a Roger Gracie or something, which I also had the pleasure of sparring with him on more than one occasion, he will beat me. He will get on top and he will smother me, and it wouldn't be that difficult for him. But if it's not that, I'm not saying it has to be Roger Gracie, right? Or Khamzat Chimaev or something like that. But if it's not an elite fighter, he's going to find it difficult. And if he doesn't find that difficult, then he is an elite fighter. He's at the level of ADCC. And I know it sounds, like I'm self-aggrandizing, but I know this because I've spent hours, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, maybe thousands actually now, on the mats. People don't know that, but I've spent thousands of hours on the mats. So I know what it is to wrestle. I know what it is to do BJJ. I know I can put myself in defensive positions. I'm not the most technical guy in the world, but I can get myself out of essentially every single difficult position, and I can stop submissions. And I'm not saying I'm unbeatable, but I'm coming into this fight with a lot of confidence from a grappling perspective, despite the fact that I'm going with a black belt.
So you're fighting JJ. JJ, from my understanding, knocked out his last opponent. So JJ is going to come to stop you. Are you ready for that? Have you prepared for that type of opponent?
I'm 6'7" tall, right? I've got an 80-inch reach. Yes, he can try and do that. But look, if I was going to fight Shaquille O'Neal or the great Khali, or someone who is 7 inches taller than me, and I tried to charge at him, okay, tried to knock him out, then I wouldn't be surprised if the guy knocked me out, actually, even though that person might not have had any experience fighting, zero experience. But if I'm trying to fight Shaquille O'Neal, respect the size, okay, and humble myself to that size, then I may be humbled by that size. The size may humble me. So look, notwithstanding all the points I made, I mean, the fact is, people can say that, I can say this confidently, no one has done that to me. No one has. And if he does it, I will be utterly impressed by him. It will be phenomenal. I would be so impressed by him if he's able to do like, you know, come in like Ngannou and finish in the first couple of seconds like his previous opponent. I'll be so impressed with him. But I mean, the likelihood of this actually happening is, I'm sorry to say, slim. But if it does happen, impressive.
So I was having, obviously, I told you, like, I met Ozzy earlier, and Ozzy mentioned he did some training with you, and I think you're both kind of similar because he's very intelligent, and he was talking about how that intelligence, you pair it up with jiu-jitsu and MMA, makes you a powerful fighter, whereas sometimes when you've got an opponent there, it's aggression and violence. Do you feel that gives you the edge, that you have more of an intellectual look at how you train and the different techniques?
I don't know about all that because, to be honest, I've found that people who are really, really good at sports in general have a special and different type of intelligence. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like intelligence is. I believe in the theory of emotional intelligence by Daniel Goleman, where before they used to think intelligence was like IQ tests and these kinds of things and mathematical intelligence and stuff, but really, Floyd Mayweather, as much as we may hate him for political reasons, but he's a genius, actually. Lionel Messi, he's a genius in his own right. He might not be able to do very well in school. I mean, Floyd Mayweather can't read. I've seen him attempt to read. He can't read. But he's a genius when it comes to boxing. So the point is that there's different forms of intelligence. Yeah. You could be an excellent speaker. You can be really good at mathematics. It won't translate into combat sports. It's a different type of, it's a kinesthetic intelligence. It's a dynamic intelligence. And then you've got the intelligence, and then you've got the athleticism that you need now. Okay. So you might have all the theories of how to beat the opponent, but your body might just not be able to do the things that another person who's more athletic than you can do.
Yep.
So I think it's a different kind of analysis and it's a different kind of intelligence. So I've had to build it up. I don't think my intelligence is particularly high when it comes to fighting, to be honest. I'm still a novice. I'm still trying to learn. I'm actually at the very elementary stages of this profession. But, you know, it is what it is. And I think I'm picking up pretty quickly.
Does that excite you a little bit? Because you're at the early stages of this and you've got so much to learn. There's so much to grow, so much to experience.
Yeah, I probably don't want to do more than anything. I wouldn't do more than 5 fights.
Okay.
You know, altogether. It's because at the end of the day, there's no incentive for me to do that.
Yeah.
Zero incentive. I'm trying to do as many fights as would be beneficial to my psychology and to my emotional state, to my resilience and willpower, and will not be detrimental to my health. Yeah. And there's a fine line. And already you can argue that there's detriments to the health. But there's also positives to the health. I've lost a lot of weight. You know, my cholesterol has gone down. My psychological well-being is much better. So what you want to do is you want to catch it before the law of diminishing returns kicks in, you know. And so for me, that might be 3 fights, but it's probably going to be a maximum of 5. And, you know, for me, I'm not trying to become the UFC champion. All right, that's clearly. I'll leave that to my teammates like Mario Pinto, who's in the UFC, and Louis Sutherland and all these guys that, you know, and Shah Kamali. They can do it. I'll be very happy if they do it, to be honest. It's like I've done it because you've got to love for your brother what you love for yourself. However, for me, I have a different objective. And the objective is simply to do as much as I can so that when I look back 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, I can say I've done as much as I've tried to fulfill my potential in every sphere.
Yeah.
As much as I can.
Is there like a fight you want to finish with? And I'll tell you what I mean. It's not an opponent, but it's like the prestigious fight where it's you going against someone that's equal to you, and you can lose, they can lose. And
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Is that...
Yeah, I think that, you know, I'm going to keep fighting until I lose, basically. And if I go 5-0, then I go 5-0. But I'd like to see the person who... I'm kind of curious to know where my limits are.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. When you get to fight number 5, how does that end? Because if you feel like you're at the top and there's more for you to achieve, That's one of the things that fighters find really hard, is you get to a point and there's always another goal. There's always another belt, another fighter out there. How would you switch it off when you get to fight number 5?
Yeah, because the thing is, this is not my main thing that I do in my life. So this is, as you know, I'm a content creator, but I'm also like, I teach, I teach philosophy, I teach philosophy of religion, all this kind of stuff. So this is not my full-time vocation, and it will not be my full-time vocation. So it's going to be easy for me to switch on, because I've switched it on temporarily here. So I think that it's difficult for fighters that don't have anything else that they're doing in their life to switch things off like this. But because I'm doing other things, that shouldn't be it's so difficult.
Cool. So someone watching your fight, whether they're going to be in the arena or watching via online, what could they expect from yourself? What they're going to see in terms of what's Mohammed Hijab going to bring to the cage this time?
You know, sometimes the best plan is the one that doesn't have too many conditions. So, like the 48th law of power, Robert Greene, despite the fact that there's some issues with the book, but the 48th law is very nice, which is that be formless. I'm gonna impose myself, of course, but then a lot of it depends on the behavior of the opponent. A lot of it will depend on, if he tries to be aggressive, then he may get knocked out very quickly, for example. Or I may get knocked out. I mean, it's a very high possibility. You're rolling the dice when you do this. Of course, it's a heavyweight fight that can happen. If he wants to grapple, then one of us may be submitted. If he wants to try and push me to the wall, then he'll see my work on the wall. So if I push him to the wall, then I'll see how he defends himself against it. Whatever it is. I mean, it's very difficult to predict these things. But all I can say is that I've trained every facet of this, whether it's wall work, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's the striking aspect, or whether it's the takedowns, and whether it's the takedown defenses. All of that has been, I know how to do it. And it's difficult to take me down. It's difficult to keep me down. It's difficult to submit me. And it will take a lot of energy for someone to do that. Like in every sparring I've done, for those who have been able to take me down, unless, okay, Mario is one of the few exceptions, he can take me down. But I'm saying that, it takes a lot of energy for the opponent to try and take me and keep me down. It's exhausting. Let's see if this individual can do anything like that, let alone try and knock me out. I've never been knocked out, by the way. I've been wobbled by UFC fighters, but apart from that, there's nothing that's happened to me. So once again, if he can do that, he deserves the win. He deserves to be victorious. Really, he really does. But what's more likely is that that's not going to happen. But Allahu Alam, you never know. You never know. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's late. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me time. I know that you had a long day and you still gave me time. That means a lot to me. So thank you. And thanks for this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Yeah.